Live from the ABC7 Broadcast Center, this is ABC7 News at 5 on your side.
It states, stall, 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 stall.
Up first at 5, new clues as to why a jet crashed into a Gaithersburg neighborhood, killing 6 people, including a mother and her 2 young children inside their home. Now, within the past hour, the NTSB gave us a first look at what they found inside the plane's black boxes.
And while it does not give a definitive explanation of what went wrong, investigators say they found no evidence of a bird strike. Investigators have spent more than 24 hours on the scene of this crash along Drop Forge Lane, just north of the Montgomery County Air Park.
Our Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell live in that neighborhood tonight with the new details emerging about the crash and how the community there is coping with an absolutely heartbreaking loss. Brad.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to show you something that's going on right now. Look at this. They've loaded a good deal of the wreckage of the aircraft onto this trailer. Here comes another piece of it. We can even see what appears to be the pilot's window. And right there, you can see it says Phenom 100, the type of aircraft this was. So this is all evidence that the NTSB is going to be looking at. But very significantly, you talked about it at the beginning of the newscast. They have already had a chance to get a look at the flight data recorders, and they've gotten some significant information from there. Most importantly, that the plane, as it came in here on final approach, had slowed to 88 knots, and then there was a warning in the cockpit.
20 seconds before the end of the recording, there was an automated stall warning call out, and this call out continued all the way up until the end of the recording. This is an audio call out that states stall, stall, stall.
While the data and voice recorders tell much of the story, investigators are searching the actual wreckage for the answers it will provide, spending this entire cold, wet day examining what's left of the sleek Embraer jet. They're also listening to 911 calls from witnesses like this man who uses pilot lingo to say he thought the jet's engine shut down.
This thing flamed out and he went straight down into that house.
And a fellow pilot who radios a warning about a potential hazard in the area 1 minute before the crash.
Yeah, we got an unusual amount of birds out here.
Diego Cuellar says he actually heard a bang from the plane seconds before it appeared low over the trees.
And then I heard a second bang, and that's when I saw the plane just coming down slowly.
The plane we now know clipped this house, landing violently in front of this one, sending a wing into a third home where 36-year-old Marie Gemmel and her very young boys Devin and Cole, shown on this Facebook page, are instantly trapped by smoke and flames. Their deaths have hit many in the area. Jill Lyons is among those trying to help Gemmel's husband Ken and their surviving daughter.
She was just the most amazing, sweetest, kindest woman. She came in every day with a smile on her face. She was always happy.
Lyons is asking for donations on the crowdsourcing site GoFundMe. And an amazing thing is happening. Thousands of people touched by this tragedy are giving, driving the fund into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And she had both of them with her, holding on for dear life like a mother would. It's horrible.
Well, now listen to this. Less than 24 hours after that fund was started, it is now up to $220,000. Now, the father, Ken Gemmel, has issued a statement on his Facebook page, and I can read it to you in part as I get my phone up here. He says, "No words can describe the enormity of the loss and sadness over yesterday's tragedy." He says that he thanks the community for everything. He is asking for privacy as he tries to help his surviving daughter move ahead. In Gaithersburg, Brad Bell, ABC7 News.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. And as Brad showed us there, this crash has taken a severe emotional toll on that entire community, as well as the North Carolina company where the 3 people on board the plane worked. But the NTSB has also put together a preliminary damage estimate of $4 million. That includes the lost plane and the damage to the neighborhood.
This tragedy is spurring some new discussions about a long-running debate over the route that planes take to land at the Montgomery County Air Park. Montgomery County reporter Kevin Lewis continues our team coverage now. He is live with what community leaders say must be done, knowing what we know now. Kevin.
Well, Leon, the NTSB has just put a big part of the fuselage on this trailer behind me. You can actually see the Phenom 100 markings on what appears to have been the side of the cockpit. Beyond that, just a mangled mess of metal, all from that aircraft that crashed into these homes. And at the very top of that trailer, you can see two of the actual jets from that aircraft sitting there strapped down. We're unsure of where this wreckage is going to be taken to, but MTSB members are wrapping it with a tarp. We also want to mention what residents in this neighborhood are saying today. We spoke with a handful of residents who are active with their homeowners association, and they all tell us collectively they have complained about operations at the airport for years now. High on that list, the flight paths. I want to show you this board here. This every black line, an FAA approved flight path either in or out of the Montgomery County Air Park. Residents we talked to today say this looks like a spaghetti bowl, a mangled mess of just flight paths that are unnecessary. They want this to change.
It takes a crisis for a politician to react to a possible danger. I don't know any other way to say it.
Bob Anderson and his three neighbors are livid. As members of the Air Park Concerned Citizens Alliance, they've long feared a crash like this.
And I get emotional because it's just, I'm sorry, it tears me apart to have a child a month and a half old to be killed because we don't run a tight ship at that airport.
You just kind of have a tight knot and say, oh my God.
Roy Bevington explains Gaithersburg has boomed over the last 25 years, morphing what was a rural airport into an urban airfield.
The air park is surrounded by high density residential areas. And I think that's a prescription for a disaster, and unfortunately that happened yesterday.
This group has compiled a list of proposed changes that includes restricting flights between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., eliminating touch-and-go pilot training flights, and streamlining the number of departure and arrival paths. But they say the airport won't budge.
When I hear a county official say that that airport has made changes in order to adjust to the conditions of the community, I want to cringe. I just want to shout and cringe.
Back out live, showing you one more time the wreckage of this jet being loaded onto this trailer here. I did just get off the phone with the Montgomery County Air Park manager. He says his office routinely meets with the Air Park Liaison Committee, a group of residents, and says he's very open to suggestions. At the same time, however, he contends this crash had little to nothing to do with airport operations. We're live in Gaithersburg tonight. I'm Kevin Lewis, ABC 7 News.
Thank you, Kevin. Now, we are also learning more tonight about the passengers on board that flight that was heading from Chapel Hill, North Carolina to Gaithersburg. Michael Rosenberg, who was piloting the plane, was the CEO of a Durham, North Carolina-based health research firm. He also owned the plane. David Hartman was vice president of a different clinical research firm also based in North Carolina. And police have identified the third victim as Chijoke Obuka. It's not yet clear exactly how he was connected to the other two on board that plane. The ABC 7 team continues to search for answers to that tragedy in Gaithersburg. Still ahead here tonight, a look at the protections for people donating to GoFundMe websites like the one that was set up for the crash victims. And we'll also look into other airports in the area here with similar flight plans to that Montgomery County Air Park. And there are other airports, folks, with the same issues. And on WJLA.com, we've got a running archive of everything that we're learning, including those calls to 911.